I just be making random noise. Wait. Real bitch! Just be doing all the dumb shit. I don't give a fuck. It's all B-roll. See this? That's the topic of discussion. That's Virune Kiluse. You see that? That's Virune Kiluse. That is the first book in the Dark Gear lineup. That one right there is Virune Kiluse. Welcome again to Transmissions from the Dark. Kind of like that weird effect noise that you get when you're doing like weird shit. They used to have it back in the 1970s and shit like that. But you know some crazy shit's about to happen. It's gonna be so sci-fi. So we're here basically to talk about we're here to talk about this right here. That is Virune Kiluse. That is the first book that's going to be launched out of Dark Gear's camp next coming year, 2022. Now, first solo book. I storyboarded everything, start to finish, character, plot designs, landscapes. Like, man, the real meat and potatoes of Virune Kiluse comes later. That's where the story really gets thick. That's where the saga begins. Right now, we're getting a prelude as to how the world was born and what caused the expansion of the Dark Gear universe. Because the Dark Gear universe starts with Virune Kiluse. It expands with Virune Kiluse. So that's one of those things that is it's a building block to the foundation of Dark Gear comics. You'll see the influences or the backstory of the entire Dark Gear universe through Virune Kiluse. It's really the bones of all the stories in Dark Gear's universe. The story actually follows architects, and architects are builders of galaxies in the Dark Gear universe. Okay, architects are in groups of threes. Gaia, the planetary deity or the planetary architect, she creates the planets themselves. Then you have a moon god who regulates certain things on that planet that she creates, and then you have a sun god who also regulates things on that planet that they create. Now they go forth creating system after system after system until they become merged, and the planetary has to pick between one of the two of those entities, and they become what's known as an Omni, which is a architect, which would be the next level of architect that can create galaxies with a wave of their hand. Now, this is the first iteration of time, space, and everything. The Alpha, who made these architects, each architect has its own sector within time, space-time. The Alpha created all of these architects and said, utilize my energy to create life. The Alpha is obviously, it sounds like one being because it is one being. It's one being, but it's also, it's good and bad. It's good and bad at its purest form. It's right there. It's good, bad, evil, greatness. It's all the Alpha is one being, but we see it as two beings because our brains can't comprehend something being good and bad at the same time, which we should be able to, because cake tastes good, but it's bad for your body. And if you eat too much of it, you'll die. Probably the best definition of the Alpha I'm getting. So, the Alpha was stuck in this do loop of good, bad, and blah, 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 is ramming against itself, right? So it came to this understanding and said, I have to create this energy and divert it somehow. So it created beings of pure energy of itself and said, create more things so that the energy can bounce back. Now, these beings, they don't feel emotion, they don't feel jealousy, they don't feel they don't have the same type of feelings that we do as people. Now, they sometimes feel pride in their creations, but they don't feel the same adoration that we do in certain regards. Like, they can't kill each other. There's a thing called universal law that was decreed by the Alpha. You have Gaia, who is the, like I said, planetary deity. Then you got Ergos, who is the sun god. And then you have Elithor, who is the moon god. And they are in the second placement. So there's 3 placements, not sectors, but 3 placements in the universe for 3 of these architects. So everything starts with the second placement. So everything starts with Gaia, Elithor, and Ergos. Now, what happens is the first placement is where everything goes wrong. So in the first placement, now Jahar is a planetary deity. Jahar has a question in his mind. He's the only one that's been created with this question. He's of the first placement. So the Alpha created these 3 first. So they have been creating planetary systems for a long time together. They're right at the crux where the evolution happens. But he's had this question in his mind this whole time. I have to go back to the Alpha, because why are we doing this shit? The question of why is tormenting this motherfucker. Why? It's just tormenting him. He says, fuck this, we're not merging. I'm going to find the Alpha. So I'm gonna follow this question of why till I get to him, but I'm gonna get to his ass, right? So he travels through space, through time, dimension, looking. Meanwhile, because there's 2 of them, moon goddess and sun goddess, that he was paired with, because there's feminine energy and masculine energy. Those 2 are feminine energies. This planetary being is a masculine energy. So he had to pair with one of the 2 of them. They just go into their respective creations, their sun and the moon, and they are dormant in their respective places of creation, right? While he's gallivanting trying to find out what the fuck is going on with the Alpha, they just give up and go in their placements and they're dormant. There's science that supports a sun dying, it turns into these different transformations and then boom, it blows up. Eventually that energy is gonna go back. And a moon dying and turning into an asteroid and shriveling up, and then that crumbles and boom, next thing you know, you got that energy going back to the Alpha. They don't, by the way. But he goes back, okay? He inevitably finds the Alpha, okay? He eventually finds the fucking Alpha. He sees what the Alpha really is, by the way, because they're architects. Their comprehension of what's in front of them, the power that's in front of them, can be perceived. He goes in and he says, why? What is the end game here? What the fuck? Why do I have to pick this person for great power and yada yada yada? The dark side of the Alpha, which is the one that brings life, and the light side of the Alpha, which is the one who handles death, destruction, mayhem, they come together and they say, you know what? You're absolutely right. But you're gonna be something else for us. You're gonna be different, you're gonna be changed. Since you have a thirst for why, you're gonna be forever hungry for that why, for that question. You're gonna be forever. Everything that you created, you're gonna destroy. And everything that you haven't created, you're gonna destroy. Your thirst and hunger for destruction will never be quenched because you wanted to come back and ask why. Here's your why. Boom. Now you're chaos. Now you're sheer, pure fucking evil. There you go. Now you were a being of creation and life and bringing life. Now we're gonna make you the opposite end because you wanted to know why. So they send him back out. So he's going through space, time, dimension. Boom, he lands in his first world that they've ever created together.